We're gonna go to Elk Grove, Michigan. That's my hometown. Gonna put an end to this horse bucky once and for all.
Deadites and Screwheads, welcome to Season 2 of Hail to the Chin podcast, the companion podcast for the Ashverse Evil Dead TV show, with big thanks to Stars and Virgin Media in the UK for giving us early access. I'm your host, Dino Sorter, and with me is Bam Sam.
Hello!
And Steve.
Hello.
How we doing, guys?
Amazing.
Right. Before we go any further, though, I just wish to, what we're going to do, we're going to bring everybody up to speed with where Season 1 has been, you know, and just like the little in-between gap and where we are now. So, as you bear with me. So, 30 years after his epic battle against the evil Deadites, Ash Williams was living in a trailer park, still working in not S-Smart. Can we just, as well, it was clearly supposed to be S-Smart, which, you know, but...
Yeah, well,
anyway,
yeah.
Maybe Universal own S-Smart now, because
Yeah,
it was in
exactly.
Army of Darkness.
Yeah, but anyway, Ash was spending most of his evenings womanizing in dive bars most of the time anyway. But unleashing the Deadites through another act of buffoonery, Ash was forced to take up his chainsaw arm against the evil forces with his trusty boomstick at his side. Only this time he had some help. The hero from the sky met Pablo, who thinks he's the Jefe. I got that right this time as well.
Jefe.
So anyway, Kelly's mum came back from the dead and Ash was polite right up until he was rude, you know. So Ruby was on their trail. Lucy Lawless, she's back. It's always good to see her. With a helping hand guiding the way as well. The Ghost Beaters took on the nerd demon of Brujo, got killed. So it was back to the cabin where it all began, you know, where Linda lost her head, Jake was shredded, you know, where it all began basically. Amanda joined the Deadites and killed the hikers. Heather got dismembered pretty horrifically. Pablo got molested by the Necronomicon, if you want to look at it that way, and gave birth to the creepy kids. Lucy Lawless's, or Ruby's as we better know her as. Ruby got the book, and Ash took the deal, gas, money, and a life in Jacksonville. That rhymed, and I didn't mean it to. But, yeah, that's where we're up, right to Season 2. So it's been a bumpy ride, a bloody one as well, but it's finally great to be back.
It was a hell of a ride. It was absolutely incredible, and I can't believe how quickly the off season has gone.
Does anyone, although we spoke about it in the last episode, can we still believe that Ash was that stupid to take a deal with Ruby and
Yes.
to not,
Yes. Yes.
but at the same time, didn't we all think that there would be some sort of time travel situation? That's where I thought Season 1 was going to end, but
Yes. To be fair, the only way I think you could have ended Season 1 to satisfy the fans, unless you were going to close it off like completely as a confined story, was to have Ash doing something monumentally stupid and in his own self-interest, because it fits in with the character.
No, absolutely, yeah. You couldn't expect anything different from Ash, and I know I kind of did want some sort of time travel-esque thing, but I guess we
don't
can
know.
expect. Yeah, well, we don't know. We've heard rumours here and there. People have dropped sentences, I guess, but then some people have had to pedal back. You know, it's all a bit confusing. And
Pedal back. They've had to reverse time.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, so meta. But I guess it's something we could potentially look forward to in response to, I guess, Army of Darkness possibly being recognised in the series at some point. It has to be, doesn't it? Really?
Well, we did say that obviously there are a lot of nods to. It's not just nods to each instalment. Obviously, there really isn't a sort of clear, overt reference to Army of Darkness outside of the Evil Dead 2 ending, which obviously takes you already into that sort of like in medieval era. But there are story beats. There are story beats, and Season 2, obviously, which we're going to watch in a bit, is very. To me, my initial thoughts obviously are it's very influenced by Army of Darkness more so than the other two installments of the franchise.
Hell, the intro of the show itself is incredibly Army of Darkness, isn't it?
Yeah, there's how like you've got a film and you've got all the filler stuff, all your plot, your dialogue, the stuff no one cares about. We just want to get to the action and the jokes. Season 2 so far has deconstructed Army of Darkness and taken the key scenes and has repurposed them and is hitting them beat for beat in a new way, and it's absolutely fantastic.
It's exactly what I was thinking. I was sitting there with a grin on my face. Yeah, a grin on my face listening to
and we'll obviously bring that up as we go through the commentary and like pointing those out and sort of like how great they are and if they work and if they don't. Which, I mean, to be fair, they'll land. They always land at this show.
Exactly.
I did read an article online. I know because we normally go dark between seasons because we don't like to spoil anything. Because even if you just watch the trailer, you already know certain things that are like, oh, well, there's a shot that's set up making you think maybe something's going on, but it pans out into a joke. It's like, well, we already know it's a joke because if we've seen the trailer, we've always seen too much. So we went went off the grid really for a while. But I did read an article that was saying about how, and I don't know if you guys agree, they're saying how Ash works better in a TV format than on film. And I disagree. I think he just works fantastic across the board. It's just amazing.
He works great
in time
film. He works great in TV shows. He works great in video games.
Yeah.
He even somehow works great in comics, even though that's not Bruce Campbell.
No, exactly.
In your mind, it's Bruce Campbell, isn't it? Yeah.
And you mentioning video games, one of my most anticipated duos that I've been waiting to see in Ash vs Evil Dead is Ted Raimi and Bruce Campbell themselves, because in Ash Fistful of Boomstick, that game where the two of them, where I believe Ted Raimi voiced, Ted Raimi voiced Regeneration. Apologies, but the voice. Fact check. But that chemistry that they had together, and even Ted Raimi's performance with was it Sam, the little zombie, half human, half zombie, little New York zombie, wouldn't he? Like he just sort of like typical little mafia looking dude with his trousers.
What was that again? Can you do that again?
No,
where was he from?
Embarrassing myself now. But my point is Ted Raimi on screen with Bruce Campbell. I just can't wait for it because I loved them in Regeneration as a video game.
Most interesting thing about that is going to see the dynamic between Bruce and Ted and Pablo and Ray, because Bruce and Ted have worked together, since obviously, before Evil Dead. They've been on the ride together, and obviously when they've gone and done side projects, sort of Ted's tagged along. I shouldn't say tagged along because that's really harsh. Ted Raimi doesn't just tag along. He's an actor and a star in his own right. But it'd just be quite cool to see if they actually have this whole tension of I was here first. I was the psychic first kind of thing between him and Pablo. That would, because we don't know whose character is yet.
No, exactly. But we could kind of get a good impression, or we could have ideas at least, because as we all know, Pablo is really, really gluing and sticking to Ash because he sees, I guess Pablo sees himself in Ash, potentially, maybe. I mean, who really would?
Or maybe Pablo sees Ash inside him.
Oh, detail. But anyway, do we want to get on with the episode, guys? Sam, do you want to mention anything? You've been a bit quiet, mate.
Yeah, well, when you're on with Steve, you don't get a word in, do you? So... No, I was going to mention at the start, what can our listeners expect from us this season?
Well, I don't know where you're going with that.
You have no
idea. That was sort of like the segue into the commentaries. We've got some interviews confirmed. We're going to do some film commentaries as well.
Well, Sam, if you got all this information, why don't you tell us?
We've got some competitions coming up.
Well, yeah, we might as well get to the point anyway. There's no beating around the bush. But like I said in the introduction, thank you to Stars and Virgin Media here in the UK. Like Sam has said, we're going to be able to start bringing you some more interviews, and I guess maybe some better interviews as well from season 1. But what more importantly, I think we've got a competition coming up, but we're still organising that. We're probably I've had an idea of potentially asking maybe one of the stars from the show, when we do get to interview them, maybe they can ask a question, that's something quite sort of I don't know, in depth in one of the episodes that could be quite difficult to answer instead of just generic phone-in stuff.
No, man. Don't get
No?
the super nerds involved. Jesus.
But yeah, you've got that to look forward to anyway. We've got more interviews coming. We've got more commentaries coming up. We've done Evil Dead not too long ago. We're hopefully going to do the second one. We'll do Army of Darkness as well. But yeah, competitions and a lot more stuff hopefully in the future.
We've got I was going to say we've got a nice relationship going with them guys now, so that should open some more doors for us.
Yeah, you never know.
Some basement doors.
Basement doors.
Trap doors.
Aha. Okay, cool. So quickly before we start, one last thing for myself. Last season, it was our first season. We just got into it. We were kind of, I think, overawed.
Fresh on the ground,
overawed by how amazing the show was and our love
and the
for the
response
franchise.
from the fans as well.
Yep, and the response from the fans. We tended to each say keywords quite a lot per episode. So this episode, anytime Dean mentions a keyword, he doesn't know what it is. Sam mentions a keyword. He doesn't know what his one is either. I'm gonna them, and we're gonna. And they know what they know what my one is, but I don't know what it is. So we'll see. We'll see how this pans out. I think it will end horribly, but yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if it picks up, we can invest in our own little buzzers.
Yeah. Now I've said that none of us are going to mention these words, are they?
Yeah.
It's just.
So we're going to start the episode as we usually do on Stars Originals as it pans across, but Sam's going to count us down as he usually does.
Yeah. So at the ready, guys, whatever format you're watching it on.
Yes. Season 2, Episode 1, titled Home.
Just a quick one before we start. Steve, has there been any other shows you've been watching lately on TV?
No, nothing at the moment, but the new fall season does kick off, and I will be watching several shows, mostly on the CW. Thank you, Sam.
You're avoiding that.
I now know.
That's already.
I now know what my keyword is.
Right, let's go. 3,
yeah, let's go.
2, 1, play.
The four.
Road so far.
So yeah, this is the recap on season 1, and as we said, I don't think any of us could have imagined how great this show would be. I'd have loved it no matter what, but I didn't realize one, it'd be so amazing for myself as a fan, but also just even sort of like casual fans would like gravitate towards it so much, and the critical response. Every episode was a 9 point something out of 10.
Well, how many? How many films lately have had a TV show that are just absolutely diabolical? You know, like the new Lethal Weapon TV show. They did a Rush Hour one, and even the Scream series. Scream has got its own TV series.
Another one.
Yeah, that's quite popular though. I've watched it and I've not really enjoyed it. But same with the Scream one, as a massive Scream fan, I don't enjoy the TV show at all.
So I must admit as well, as a diehard Evil Dead fan, I too was, of course, I was like, oh, it's going to be fantastic, it's going to be great. But in the back of my mind, I was always sitting there being like, for crying out loud, Sam Raimi, Tappert, Campbell, don't fail, for fuck's sake.
They didn't. I mean, that shot,
they absolutely didn't.
That shot there of Ash sort of smiling, so happy with himself. It's kind of like he's pulled off this deal, but at the same time, it's kind of a great way to go out for season 1 because it's like Ash going, I've just pulled off a show that didn't get cancelled as well.
Yeah,
Bruce Campbell, because.
Have I missed something as well? Looking at Lucy Lawless, pink hair.
I noticed that in episode 2 when I won't spoil it because a lot of people won't have watched it yet. But there's a moment in it when I was sitting there, I was like, "What happened to her hair?"
Yeah, no, I think we missed that.
And of course, the cliche torture from I guess one of the Raimi brothers at least.
Well, it's all about the sick, isn't it? And Evil Dead franchise has dragged me to hell. But this doesn't waste any time. There's no let's spend. Again, this is why I like it being a tight 30-minute per episode, because there's no let's do an entire episode, because we've got 24 episodes and 45 minutes each. There's no let's do a whole episode of just gradually, where are people now? Which I assume they would do in other zombie-based shows. Creepy kids have grown up, looking more and more like Aphex Twin.
I really like what the kids look like, and I love the image from the Necronomicon as well.
Hero from the Sky.
Yep, Hero from the Sky. I love it.
Classic Ash coming up.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is the bit I was saying. If you'd seen a trailer, you'd know that there's no stakes involved in this. It is to set up for a joke. I mean, you can pretty much guess it anyway, where he's wearing his "My Name Is Bruce" style Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. And his little turtle shell bloody surfer necklace as well, that just douchebags only wear anyway.
Ash is a douchebag, though.
No, exactly. Yeah.
That's the best thing about him. He's honest in that respect. He's an unfettered douche.
And still it's continuing the whole Pablo looking up to the Jefe and Kelly just being the, I guess, sour character that she is, drinking on the job.
Yeah, basically we're just getting back into it.
Back into speed of catching up where the characters are, who they are exactly.
No messing around.
That clip just then as well. Is Ash wearing socks and props?
I believe he is. Yes.
Good to see Eli again as well, though.
They let his grey hair come through a bit on this series because he had the really, because in the first series he had just the just for men pitch black hair.
Yeah, well, he had the boot polish, didn't he? in his trunk. That was still one of the best scenes where he just like colours the grey streak in. From the end of Evil Dead 2 boot polish. It was just pure. He's just, lovable scum.
Is it? Could we be sort of getting a hint of something from the producers even by just leaving the grey bit in his hair, in indication towards, I don't know, recognising the real end of Evil Dead 2? Is it something that they could be highlighting?
It was the end of Evil Dead 2.
No, but going back in time, recognising Army of Darkness. Do you reckon that just the grey bit there is sort of...
Maybe they just on a lot of like feedback of things that people didn't do like in screenings and things like that was like, what's with Ash's hair? Maybe.
It don't matter anyway. Rob Tapper has even said continuity or something for like pussies or something. Sam Raimi, they don't do continuity. They just tell interesting stories through the medium of film and television. Yeah. They're not these aren't they're not Christopher Nolan filmmakers, and they don't want to be. They want to make entertainment that's fun. So if they go over the top and don't that glass was actually 3 inches to the left in that last shot.
Yeah. Can we just comment as well, still how amazing and perfect the Deadites look? Like, so good, even with the...
I just love the fact that, like, no one really flinches. Ash is like the ultimate party guy, and he's just rocking out with a chainsaw in his hand, and he's just he's shooting off, like, a sawn-off shotgun, I mean, I don't know, Dean, is that a thing?
It's not a thing, but I must admit, some of the women look like that.
Yes, again, guarantee in Jacksonville. Probably most of this is true. This actually was probably them just filming on a day off, and they're just like, this actually ties in with the plot. It's a normal day in Jacksonville.
Thing I noticed about this series is this season, is that so far over the first couple of episodes, the fighting, like the comedy in the fight scenes, is way more Army of Darkness stuff.
It is,
and it's way more apparent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like when the Deadite punched Ash about a couple of minutes ago in the chest, and he sort of flipped over, he was like, whoa, 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 sort of like that.
It's that
when he's fighting the mini Ashes and things like that.
Yeah, that over the top Looney Tunes, Three Stooges kind of exaggerated. See, you just knew this was coming up because you knew they wouldn't like just replicate.
It was still hilarious.
It was, I know, it was brilliant. It's what you wanted. You had the badass open, and we because I mean, who didn't sort of like basically mess their pants when they saw that in season 1, where he just locks into the chainsaw and it's like, oh yes. Now you want to see him just fall because we've got past that part.
The Hefe is back, and there is just
There you go.
same old clumsy Ash.
A nice little piece of Army of Darkness there using the leather belt. Is it me as well, or have Kelly and Pablo been put through in the first 3 minutes of this, like as much blood and violence as they did in the whole of season 1 almost?
I would say this is welcome back hazing.
Yeah, welcome back on set, kids.
That,
this is how it works.
What's that? You signed your season 2 contract, pour the blood.
Yeah.
As soon as that contract is signed and the insurance is covered.
So many limbs in this season.
Nice little Evil Dead 2 nod there as well, though, when he's Ash originally was Henrietta.
I love this bit.
Yeah, but this is like the Linda Muppet body as well. Yeah. Oh. It shouldn't be funny, but it's. I mean, look at it. But you're right. It's just it's taken the Evil Dead comedy, Evil Dead 2 comedy to an extreme, and with all the little the beats of Army of Darkness, like even you remember that bit where, it's the way Bruce Campbell moves and that. Oh look, it's the classic Ash versus intro that where there's a blood explosion and it goes to Ash versus Evil Dead. A bit like another show, Sam.
What I find really impressive though is that there was a few in that little battle scene at the start there. There was clearly a few nods to the past Evil Dead movies, but it wasn't cheesy, It wasn't, oh, look, they're taking that from Evil Dead, like the whole leather belt thing from Army of Darkness when he's in the pit, he uses it on his chainsaw just then. Yeah. It didn't seem out of place,
Well, that doesn't, no. Like... It flows within universe, doesn't it?
And I'm so glad it does,
It's for the fans. So, Dean, what do you think, right, about seeing more of the Necronomicon, seeing more of the pages, and how Ruby's now summoning Ash by attacking him to call off the truce? What do you think it's expanding on anything Evil Dead wise?
Have I got to buzz myself here for a reason?
No, I'm asking you a question.
That sounds like such a.
Do you think anything is being expanded upon?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, God damn it! You will say it.
I don't know what the law. Oh, I like this little break as well, with the whole map thing going back.
Yeah, shows like from Jacksonville to where Ash came from. Again, once again expanding on the
law. I'm enjoying this. I knew that was such a basic question.
You guys need to get one of these buzzers. You just search buzzer in the App Store.
Sounds endless fun. I love this bit, like where he's.
Maybe we can get sponsorship from this buzzer app.
See,
there we go.
Only a character like Ash can pull this off because, okay, drinking and driving is not a cool thing. Let's just say that now. But the way he says around and says, "Oh, I don't need to pee. I'm going. I've been going." He's just sitting there peeing himself in his car. It's just.
I love after all they've been through, Pablo's experience in all of this, and he's still just keeping it hidden.
Yeah, I know.
Knowing full well.
It would be so easy just to sit there and say, guys, my hand just drew this for some reason, just one more bump in the road of what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. I could understand if they hadn't have got so far down the line together, he might be scared of a guy with a chainsaw and a boomstick that likes to take down anything that's evil, but they're like besties, so I think he's safe just to tell Ash. Oh, well, that wouldn't create much of an interesting story arc. The one thing I did watch over the summer was I think it was a Santiago Comic-Con panel.
Yes, I watched that too.
He had Lee Majors and everyone there and that. So was that the one where Ash was God damn it, Bruce Campbell. You can't. They're just the same person, aren't they? Really?
Yeah. The way he was paying off all these.
Yes. Yeah. Husky.
More questions being answered though. What I'm enjoying about this, going back to Ash's childhood, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you think he was a normal kid who went to the cabin with his friends. The events of the films, it happened-ish, depending on the continuity we're now running with. And I like where the season's going because exploring what happens after you experience that, and you are the lone survivor with missing one hand, and all your friends are like dismembered.
Correct me if I'm wrong as well. Are the pictures those that are in the Bruce Campbell's book, Confessions of a B-Movie Actor? Because I swear I've seen that photo of before.
Do you know what? If that's an Easter egg you spied, I don't know. I can't.
Pretty sure it is. I'll have to have a ganders after we.
I can neither confirm or deny that. But all I know is I will build the wall.
How great does Lee Majors look as, I guess, Ash Senior?
I think that was the big standout from Comic-Con when Lee Majors came out, and you were just thinking, right, okay, I now know that this was the only way to go. If you've written in Ash to have a dad, this is the only actor in the world you can get. Unless unless Elvis was still alive.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It's uncanny, isn't it? How much they look like each other.
Well, yeah, it's like
even the hair.
Yeah, it's not even. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, they've got the same nose," because they haven't, or they've got the same chin. They haven't, but they just. I know it just fits so well.
That's what you get. That's what you call like two manly, super manly men standing next to each other.
That gag was great as well, where he was just like, "It's Bumpy Riot."
I do love that. Yeah, she looks like this. That was. I laughed so hard the first time they delivered that line where, you always blame somebody else. Someone cut off your hand. No, I did that. Someone cut off your friend. No, I also did that.
It's almost crazy to think as well that Brock is almost rational, considering he's Ash's dad and he's already sat there and said, "Oh, you got a green card, kid." Like, it's almost he sounds smart, and let's be honest, Ash is smart in a stupid idiot way. But it's like, if that guy's managed to produce Ash, what on earth is his dad like? Like he sounds quite intelligent at the same time as how he was just breaking everything down there to Ash, saying like, "You're always finding excuses for people," but then at the same time he's pulling lines like, "You got your green card, kid." Like, I don't know how to take him, but then it's Ash though, isn't it? It's...
Well, I think it's important to bring in sort of, that his dad is him, but obviously there will be little sort of jokes you can play on the difference between generations.
I like that. I have ruined a lot of people's lives. So who's he, though? Who is he?
I believe it's whom.
Whom? Whom doth they speak to?
I will say that other than a heavier influence on the episode so far from Army of Darkness, the show as well is paying great homage to just the absolute classic tropes of horror, the horror genre, in so many creative ways. And also, I love seeing some shots where you can blatantly tell it's a set.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I love seeing. Yeah, I love seeing an exterior set. I miss that. It has a different look to it.
It was real, doesn't it?
Like Graveyard in Army of Darkness, you just wouldn't get that same atmosphere on location.
You saw the massive felt backdrop that they had. Looks like had been painted by a bunch of school kids for like a play or something like that.
Hey, those school kids were paid.
Yeah.
I had a real loser moment when this policeman showed up. He used to be in Neighbours, the TV show, about 15 years ago.
Oh God, yeah, because they're filming Down Under again, aren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That was another sort of wake-up call to that it's filmed Down Under.
Yeah.
Well, New Zealand, do they like being called Down Under?
Well, I think
who gives a fuck, the Down Under? How is Lost, by the way?
The way he
goes
says,
crazy
okay,
and
that's not
jumps on
true.
his friends.
The way he says, okay,
Another-
that's not true,
I
is
know.
exactly like Trump.
Again, another perfect line delivery, though.
I did
That's
it so
not true.
crazy.
Exactly. I knew exactly what I was doing. that's fucking brilliant. It's just like the hand thing, no, I did that. No, I did that. Just the comic timing and the Bruce Campbell's just delivery is absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
And again, it's going back into what happened.
Grease of 50s cheesy American lines and stuff.
Well,
Like even now.
Well, this scene coming up is right out of Army of Darkness. This is the boomstick scene out of Army of Darkness without the boomstick.
Screwheads. Ashy slashy. Nimrods, another nice word.
Mm. The way he's orating to the audience, that kind of that is it's this is what I'm saying, taking those key scenes out of Army of Darkness, like the boomstick scene, repurposing it, but hitting every beat that made it great. His arrogance,
and in the new original ways.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to expanding on the law. That's not my buzzer. That's not mine. Mine's supernatural. There we go. Right. But expand on the law again. This stuff happens. It's happened in someone's life. So Ashy Slashy, he's had to go home at some point. Even if we include Army of Darkness in the timeline. And you take the theatrical ending where he ends up back in S-Mart, he's had to go home, and people will be like, well, where's your hand gone? And what happened to your friends? Where's your sister? Where's your girlfriend Linda? Do you know what I mean? So he would have had to return to deal with the fact that he would have been seen as a psycho killer, and how did he get away with it?
Can we just comment as well on how that body that was floating was creepy as fuck? And where on earth was Pablo hiding that Colt Python then?
That was a gun in his pants, mate. This is perfect practical effects straight out of Poltergeist.
Yeah.
I love seeing practical effects back on the screen in a big way.
No CGI needed, nothing. Just literally plasticine face, tear it to pieces.
I think the special effects team will be, will be like, Dean, it's a bit more than plasticine, mate.
No, you know what I mean. I don't know. I can't think of the.
It's unbranded modelling clay. Plasticine's a trademark. We can't afford that.
I love that fucking transition.
That transition was for me and Rachel both. Me and my wife just literally commented on that the moment it had happened. We was like,
something out of the 80s, wasn't it?
That's what I'm saying, like that
Squad or something.
Yeah, exactly. Those homages to like the little sort of like horror tropes style. Yeah. Why not have why not have some smoke on the ground? Like fog on the ground. Why not have weird angles? And there's actually a few transitions in this episode.
This was one of my favourite scenes ever so far. He puts the Kandarian dagger on the end of the shotgun, loading up on shotgun bullets. Chainsaw on hand, and then aftershave and the tats, and breaking the fourth wall with the wink. Fucking amazing.
Do you know what the wink reminds me of?
So good.
Every now and again when Rick Mail and Aid Edmondson would break the fourth wall in Bottom.
Yeah.
They'd give a wink to the kids, wouldn't they? Or
yeah. They say television creates violence. We ain't got one, and I'm smashing his face in.
Young ones, that cheeky nods to the audience.
Yeah, there'll probably be a few American listeners as well that when we say Bottom, they wouldn't have a clue what we're talking about. But it's an old British 90s sitcom that we absolutely encourage you to check out.
Do you reckon they called it Fanny in America?
Yeah, maybe. That'd
been a whole different show over here.
Oh. Another little nod. I love it.
It's the way he's doing it. He does the old kind of like movements as well,
like as if he's dusting the knocked out stars away from his head almost. It's like you talking about Army of Darkness, Steve, for
The
instance,
mirror
this
scene, yeah.
even the transition of when Ash walks into the camera, it's exactly with the whole mirror scene. It just even the way it's filmed is just exactly the same, and it's fantastic.
But like you say, it's reimagining it in an interesting way. It's not just another. We've done the reflection, gag. So like, you've done that in Evil Dead 2.
With the mirror.
The reason he was suspicious in the windmill was because he walked into a windmill with a full length mirror in the Dark Ages, and now he's getting like it's just getting the shit kicked out of him by a shadow.
I love this.
Such a fucking moron.
Even his shadow's a moron.
The demon children.
What do you think of the Demon's Children? Because obviously they're taken away from the Deadite. So
yeah, I like the idea of it. I think it's a different direction in the sense of that it's difficult. I imagine just finding ways to produce Deadites from humans, because obviously the humans are the vehicles of the body essentially, whereas these are just like entities themselves. They are their own thing.
Do you think maybe they sort of like were leaning towards more these creepy kids as the abomination in the remake, and then they've sort of like
shout.
Quickly, side note, I know it sounds weird, but that scene for some reason, don't know why, but it reminds me of the dogs from Elm Street 2. Freddy's got these weird dogs that are guarding the boiler room with these weird faces on. I don't know, just the way the head was turned, but yeah. The abomination. Do you think maybe it's an extension of where a concept art they were going with?
It could be. That's a really good eyes, mate. I never even thought that.
I don't know. It's just because they're skinny and they're sort of like they move strangely, don't they? And so.
I like it as well. It's got the seriousness of horror, and then it just throws that in there, just a puff of smoke in his face.
What does he say? I fucking missed it again there. Really.
So now this is interesting because remember the necklace was drawn towards the book, wasn't it, in season 1? And we didn't really know what the fuck the necklace was going on about. But it turns out it's the Ring of Power, and it hides
much
you
like a
from
Lord of the
Gollum.
Rings thing style.
Yeah, this is straight out of Lord of the Rings. It's like my precious. That was a terrible Schmeagol impression.
I like the whole shadow effect as well, as that's how they escape.
Oh yeah, I love it. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
But Steve, I like getting back to it. I like the whole idea that they could be a connection to the abomination.
Yeah, I don't know. I just was thinking tall, skinny, strange looking, like nothing we've seen before.
Fantastic eyes, man. Really good shout. Another homage, Yeah,
it's the pit scene, isn't it? God, can't you come up with any new ideas?
Yeah.
It's the Star Wars Episode 7 argument, isn't it? It's like, look, I would rather have amazing episodes of Ash vs. Evil Dead paying homage and repurposing scenes from the original films than a terrible series trying to do random new shit. Like I'd rather have Star Wars Episode 7 be a remake of basically the best parts of pretty much the first 3 films, but mostly A New Hope, than anything from the prequel trilogy.
It's obvious. Ivan, Raimi, and Sam are sticking to what they know. That's it. They're Tapper and that they're sticking to what they do best, and they know how to please the fans, even with Die Hard Easter eggs and stuff.
Do you reckon that's the point? If you finish that sentence, you owe Fox the bucks. But if you don't tag on the fucker, you don't have to pay them.
We'll soon find out to see if the season gets cancelled just because.
Yeah, they're hardly going to. It's in the can. It's in the can, dude. Yeah. Ash vs. Evil Dead season 2 was cancelled after 2 episodes because they used
Bruce Willis for all wobbly.
Yeah. Let's move on. Nothing about Bruce Willis. Let's move on. This is one of those. Do you remember in the Hangover films, everyone said, "Why does everyone else look like shit, but Bradley Cooper still looks pretty good? Or they only gave him red eyes." It's like, how's Lucy Lawless got on way with going through all that, and then turns out the first major scene in with Ash, he's like, yeah, he still looks hot.
Yeah.
But Kelly and Pablo absolutely covered. Yeah, she was covered earlier, but what a tool.
I love that. First of all, screw you. Spicy man meat into a mother-daughter sandwich. Shit.
It's a pretty disgusting line.
It is, isn't it? Nice little transition there too.
And then they used a similar one in the final episode with the cabin where it went from the basement.
Yes, when
cellar up to the floor when Kelly was at the door or something, wasn't it? And I think we commented on how amazing the use of that was then.
I think that's what these transitions and just the way they use the camera, they're always going to use it in the Ash vs Evil Dead, because although they're only small, minute clips and stuff like that, like for instance in Evil Dead where they're walking across the beams when it goes one, you've got Evil Dead 2 where the Professor Noby's trying to break through to the real world, and you see it sort of like as if the camera's running around the house, like obviously the entity's trying to break through to our world. And then you've also got it in Army of Darkness where he's in the windmill scene and the camera's flying around all different objects and stuff. The transitions just work really well, and they're only minute little things, but like you've said, it's again paying homage almost. You remember how these transitions work. You've
got to keep the essence of Sam Raimi filmmaking, even no matter how small the budget is, or because obviously, Sam Raimi had no budget to do that stuff back then, but nowadays you're not really allowed to use all the 2x4s, duct tape and Vaseline and stuff kind of thing. And make your own stuff. But you've got to keep the soul of the franchise. And, going back when I think Sam mentioned like Lethal Weapon, you won't have any of the core elements other than the name to it. You and the characters, you won't have the cinematography style that made the first two Lethal Weapon films stand out against every other action film of that time.
Sorry, that is such fantastic acting from Bruce there when he's like, you feel that? And even the break of do you? Like in pure and utter panic. It's fantastic acting.
He calls him Hefe.
But like Steve asked us both earlier, I still think the children really, really work in this universe,
Yeah.
Like gatekeepers almost of the Necronomicon, or servants to Satan.
Or I don't know whether are they the dark ones? Is Ruby the dark?
Oh yeah, of course.
Is she the dark one, and they are the other dark ones? Because they're not
forgot.
Because obviously they're not the Deadites, are they?
No.
So we still, because remember, we don't really know where Ruby went when she got pulled into the fire at Brujo's, and if that was obviously Ruby being pulled into the fire because she'd betrayed the Deadite, so she got pulled to hell, but then was obviously brought back possessed by the Dark One. So it's just Ruby as a meat suit or something.
Meat suit. That's the one. That's what I was trying to think of earlier.
There was a little bit of ambiguity there, wasn't there? I think.
Can I just comment? That was one of my favourite one-liners Ash has ever made as well. Playtime's over, and he's just night. Just. Does not listen to Pablo at all.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I'm gonna ask you, but not actually take on board what you say.
Fantastic episode. Fantastic first episode. Straight off the bat, no screwing around. Worked brilliantly, in my opinion, and it was the perfect introduction to season 2.
It almost mirrored the ending of the first episode of season 1 as well.
I mean, we all loved it at the end of the day. I mean, Steve, how do you feel?
It didn't skip a beat. Like it runs straight from season 1 to season 2 flawlessly. It tells you automatically you're going to get more gore, more humor. You're going to get more of everything you loved, basically.
Perfectly placed.
I can understand that although they took it to Stars, and they said Stars gave us free rein to do whatever we wanted to do, they would had to have ticked certain boxes to make sure that it was at least a decent hit. Now it's such a hit, they're like, they can really go to town on it. And it's interesting as well because in season 1 they paid so much fan service to certain things like the hand, going back to the cabins, or Linda, Jake, and all that. So you wonder how much is left for them to do in season 2.
Yeah,
but I'm liking it because they are paying the homages, but they're expanding.
Yeah,
on
it's
everything.
not that. It's
I've said expanding way too much.
Well, it's in that case, it's nice to see that. Like you said, in season 1 they had a lot of fan service to, I guess, take on board, or at least to project as well. And it seems, although we're just completely up and running with Ash versus Evil Dead, like you said, season 1 was an absolute success. Now let's get the ball rolling again. They were doing all of the homages perfectly, absolutely perfectly. It was well paced. The one-liners were perfect. I guess the nods to the original 3 movies were, you could see where they were, but they weren't deliberate and they weren't anything too much. It just, like I said, it just ran really well. It paces really well so far.
Yeah, nothing was ham-fisted nods. It wasn't just a remember this.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember this. It was all perfectly in sync with the story.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a certain dinosaur film where it's like, remember this bit from the first one.
Don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, I guess we're absolutely all. I imagine everybody listening as well is absolutely well chuffed with the first episode. We've got the second episode coming next week, but thanks to obviously Stars and Virgin Media UK, we've got a bit lucky, so we're going to be recording that pretty soon, I imagine, in the week. But yeah, I couldn't be happier to have Ash and the trio back. Oh, not forgetting Ruby, of course. Is there anything that you guys are looking forward to in this new season? Or anything you hope gets touched on, maybe? We all know what I'm looking for, but what about you guys?
I would, maybe not for season 2, I don't know. I would love to see some kind of a reference. I know what Sam would like to see a reference to, but I would like to see some kind of reference to the remake. Like an overt, like an overt reference. So, even something that there's, I don't know, there's an Easter egg, like a news article, and it's Jane Levy, girl found wandering in woods, missing a hand after cabin murder or something.
Something nice to sort of bridge that universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam?
To be honest, I don't want to do too many spoilers on episode 2, but
oh, of course not.
A lot of what I wanted to see and what I wanted it to reference is in a scene in season 2, episode 2.
I'm interested to find. Right, don't even say it. I'm interested to see what scene you're talking about because there's even in these last 2 episodes, like you said, we don't want to spoil too much. But like Steve said earlier with this episode, there's the homage nods and this, that, the other, and the Easter eggs are done so well, so correctly, and there's so many. It's interesting to see where they're going to go from there. But what I'm looking forward to is hopefully later on, sometime in the storyline, I don't know, season 2, season 3, season 4,
Swear to Christ, you say fucking time travel.
time travel, but at the same time, looking forward to Ted Raimi on screen. I really can't wait to see Ted.
Definitely. Ted Raimi is joy to watch in everything he shows up in. What? I didn't mention that show that he showed up in. Where
that was a correct one.
All right.
You got the stuff today.
Right. Anyway, guys, if you're still with us, thanks for getting this far into the podcast. You can catch us on Twitter at Hail to the Chin. That's Hail #2 the Chin. You can find us on YouTube. Hey, shut up! I've got to put that at the end of every episode. You can find us on YouTube.
I thought you were going to forget to say that's the #2.
No, exactly. Yeah, Hail to the Chin podcast on YouTube. You can find us on iTunes also under the same name. Once again, we want to thank Stars and Virgin Media UK for giving us such a great opportunity, and we couldn't be any happier to be covering pretty much our favourite TV show at the moment. We've got competition coming soon as well. Keep your ears out and your eyes out on YouTube, I guess, as well, and on the Twitter feed. But I guess until next time, unless any of you guys have got anything left to say.
No, just if you Google Hail to the Chin podcast, you basically brings up straight away our Blogspot, Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube feed. So if you ever sort of if you can't find us on iTunes, just Google search Hail to the Chin podcast, and bang, there's the iTunes link straight there.
Nice.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for joining us, though, guys. And I guess until next time, stay groovy.
We gave peace a chance. Now it's time for war.